Hey everyone, welcome to this episode of Eclipse Kitchen. This is a great soup/stew meal for those days that you want to have a bit of a Tex-Mex inspired meal. Pair this with the garlic and cheese scones and you've got something super delicious to dip with. This recipe contains cinnamon, so if you can't take a lot of spice, I suggest you omit that as it will make the chili have quite a bit of kick to it. Okay, let's pull up the recipe and see what you'll need for this. Okay, 1 to 2 cans of diced tomatoes. I really like using the Elmer brand diced tomatoes, but Unico works too. After you empty the can, keep it around because this is a good way to measure out more water if your chili needs it. The red kidney beans are really good. But make sure to look at the ingredients. You basically want to see salt, kidney beans, and water, and possibly citric acid. The stuff that's in the can of kidney beans will act as a thickener. Here's the can of sliced mushrooms. You will need to fully drain these. You can alternatively use 250 grams of fresh sliced mushrooms. They will be gigantic when you first put them into the meal, but will cook down and shrink as they cook. Here's your regular ground meat. Again, you want to use a fattier meat as this will make the meal more satisfying. That is all the vegetables. I've heard you can put whole corn in chili, but I never do. These vegetables are a pretty versatile lot. You may want to add a bit of water to steam the vegetables till the green peppers and celery turn a bright color. In terms of the spices, you need mustard and turmeric to go with the vegetables as they cook. The chili powder, garlic, and cinnamon are generally for the chili itself. The chili sauce can be added to the meat. If you do have that allergy to spicy foods, like I said, you can omit the cinnamon, use less chili powder and chili sauce, and use the diced tomatoes with Italian spices. Lastly is the high quality oil. If you're using a really fatty meat, then I would reduce the oil down to 1 tablespoon. Just one last note before we go on to the main portion. When the chili is in the fridge for a few hours, you will see a layer of solid fat on top. That can be removed because all the nutritious fat is in the chili. Alright, on to the main portion of the show. Cool. Okay, so I got everything there. Grand. This is going to be the big kahuna. I also need to grab my spices. So, tonight is chili night. I love doing this recipe. Especially on a freezing cold night like tonight. It's like, it goes from like burr to I'm gonna freeze my butt off. So, I got everything. I made sure that I have enough of everything. I just need 2 more ingredients, one of which is kind of buried. Where are you? Oh, you aren't buried. You're just almost out of reach. Okay, so meat. And I just need a veggie. Veg pack and a half? Let's see. What do I need? Let me see on my recipes. What else I need? What else I need my vegetables for? Oops. So, chili. I need 1, 2, 3. I need this one pack. 3 that need... Oh, okay, so I can actually double up on my vegetables. I just need this one for one of my recipes. So, let me put that one back. I can double up on my vegetables. Because I can and I will. So, I'm basically putting a full onion, a full green pepper, 2 celery sticks, 2 carrots. And I need my oil, so I'm going to start cooking. Again, 2 tablespoons of oil. I don't exactly need to actual measure. I like eyeballing this, so I need to turn on to medium, medium high. It's kind of like on 5. While that heats up a little bit, I'm going to trim the edges of my hamburger. This particular recipe is something from my childhood, especially during the winter months. I love this type of, well, my version is kind of more of a soup than a stew type product, but I don't like mine thick. I like mine kind of soupy, kind of chillin', kind of nice. Something to warm me up if I've been outside for too long. I don't have the cinnamon. That's the one spice I need, because I do like it spicy. For those that don't, or that can't take a lot of spice, don't add cinnamon. It's good enough to have those spice, or to have the chili powder and the chili sauce. There we go. So you can omit the cinnamon and just use this stuff. So the garlic, the turmeric, the mustard, the chili powder, and the chili sauce. I usually put these two and a little bit of garlic in with my vegetable. Just give them a little bit of flavor before I put in the meat stuff. Again, this will take about 10 minutes or so to cook up. I'm probably not going to take that long. I'm just probably going to cook them till they're hot and then add in the meat. Because this is going to cook for a couple hours. So yeah, this is the only, well, one of 2 that I'll cut to, I think. Yeah. So there's only like a couple that I'll cut and then show you guys what it looks like at the end. Okay, fine, curl up. But yeah, this is, again, one of my favorites. I'm excited to have this. I'm excited to share this to you guys because I love this recipe. I really love this recipe. So I'm just making sure that all the pan is, get the oil all over it. And using avocado oil, I'm getting my vitamin E. Figure. I don't like avocados per se, I love the oil. But yeah, I'm just trying to get all the, or as much of the pan coated with the oil. So I'm like shaking the pan because some oil is doing its thing. I want to make sure that I cover as much of the pan as I can. So I got one little small. Yeah. Almost. Yeah. One little split left. Come on, you. Oh, you shrumpet. Come on. Right. Cover them bloody well. Okay, good enough. Okay. But yeah, I usually wait till I can feel the heat about here, and then I add in my vegetable. So yeah, this is every ingredient that you'll need. So you got kind of, on the recipe, you can use 1 or 2 cans of diced tomatoes. I prefer doing the 1 because I got a lot of ingredients in one that size pan. But a bigger, well, I could use the Dutch oven, go all out, but this is only going to last me a few days anyway, so. So I got the diced tomatoes. You can also use the diced tomatoes with Italian seasoning. That gives a good enough flavor as well. I got my sliced mushrooms. You can use fresh sliced mushrooms if you want. I just prefer the can because it's quicker. They're already kind of in the small size, so I just have to dump it in. And the kidney beans. preferably when you get the kidney beans in the can, to get the ones that just have the water and sea salt. Because that way you don't waste any of the contents that's in it. You just pour the can in, rinse the can with a little bit of water, dump that solution into the mix. It's kind of why my chili is a little thinner, because I do that with both of my cans. Okay. And these will cook down, so I don't mind having a lot of vegetable. So I like a lot of vegetables. So that's that. I'll deal with the garbage later. Just want to keep going, keep cooking. So yeah, this is double what the recipe says, but I like my vegetable. I really like my vegetable. And doing these freezer packs of cut vegetable cuts down on prep time, cuts down on having to do all that sort of stuff. It's already done ahead of time. So a little bit of this, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And mustard, I find, kind of enhances the carrot flavor. Still can't figure out why or how. Just, to me it does. So, easy, and a little bit of garlic, because I'm going to use more garlic. Just a little bit, literally a little bit of garlic. Just my cinnamon. Don't need these guys anymore, because that's enough mustard and turmeric. So, there we go. Got that away. I'm just getting these guys. If I added a little bit of water, let's mix. This is going to be water in it anyways. I don't mind if it's a little soupy. If it's a little soupy, because this is going to be soupy anyways. Okay. Getting that going. My vegetables separated. They're going to be like blocks of ice for a couple of minutes. And this is basically how I cook my chili. Start with my vegetable, and then I crumble in the, well, with my stuff, I just crumble it in, or crumble in the crumbs, or crumble in the crumbles. But for other people that can eat meat, you just basically rip the hamburger or whatever ground meat you're using into small pieces, and then you let it cook until it's brown. Then you add in the tomatoes. So, with me, I'm just waiting until the vegetables get nice and hot, and then I'll add in my crumbles and everything else. Time may vary with each version, so with each iteration. So yeah, it's already starting to get nice and, well, they're already starting to separate, which is a good thing. So yeah, some of the vegetables are a little waterlogged. Oh well, they're all gonna get wet anyways. Just waiting. It's, but yeah, this is gonna be one of those types of recipes that you can have any time of the year, but I bit my tongue. You can have this any time of the year, but I really like it during the fall and winter season. summer or spring and summer, I usually switch this out and do my marinara or meatballs and marinara. So, look forward to that recipe too, because that one's a very interesting one. Just waiting, and everything is all in one pot. So one thing I like about this recipe, everything is all in one pot. You just have to wash this pot plus your utensils and that's it. So I've got the dryer and dishwasher done. While I'm waiting for that to cook, I might as well get these dishes put away. And I need... Oh, I got it all already. Okay, cool. So I'm just going to put these dishes away while I'm waiting for the food to cook. So yeah, while I'm cooking this stuff, I'm not going to be cutting until it's the long simmer, so the 2 hour on medium, stirring every 15 minutes. That's kind of the boring bit. I'll cut all that out, and then I'll just cut back in once this thing's done. But until then, you get to see how this part of the cooking process is done. Which is like watching... A watched pot never boils, but a boiled pot is never watched. And, there we go. Okay, and 3 more plates, and actually 2 more plates. I bloody need one. I need my big bowl. I need my big bowl too. So, with that, I have my plate. I have that ready, so I don't have to worry about that. And basically, for those that do use the meat version of this, when you put it away, wait like a couple hours. You'll see a rather thick bit of oil or fat or whatever on top. All you have to do is just take that off, throw it away, and your chili will be basically like as if it's cooked, or as if it's warm when it's cold. So you don't have to worry about the excess fat. The fat that's going to be in the meal is the good fat. So you're not getting all the bad fat, which that solid mass is just the excess stuff. It's not even amino acids or anything. That stuff is in with the tomatoes and with the meat, so it doesn't exactly come off of the meat. So okay, and we're almost there. I can see steam, so the water is getting to the hot temperature, just taking its dear old time. So yeah, this is, for me, this is the vegetarian version, but the recipe itself is exactly the same between the vegetarian and the meat or the omnivore type. The one that has meat. There we go. Just with me, I like doubling up on my vegetables most of the time when it comes to chili. So I want to make sure that I have, just waiting for this thing for the water to heat up so I can do my sink. So I forgot to do that before. Anyways, like 5 seconds. Okay. But yeah, basically everything is the same. The only difference is the protein. So those that are vegetarian can use the plant-based meat packs, or the plant-based ground meat packs. That's what I was trying to say. And those that can eat meat can do either ground beef, ground pork, ground lamb, whatever ground meat you want. This is a very versatile meal. main ingredients that you need is the tomato, the diced tomatoes, the kidney beans. The mushrooms is kind of optional, so you can have mushrooms, or if you have allergies, you can omit it. But yeah, everything else is about the same in terms of ingredients. The only difference is the protein. Okay, I'm just gonna fill the sink up first. There we go. So yeah, this is, oh, this is bloody thing. Just like, I really like these recipes that I'm doing. And with each recipe, I'm actually getting a little comfortable with the camera, go figure. I'm getting my suds. There we go. I always like having a certain amount of suds in my wash water. I don't like using a lot of soap, but I like a lot of suds. And I forgot this is for my chocolate milk. Okay. And I still have a chocolate milk even though I'm having high acidic supper. Okay. And you guys can see. Good. But yeah, that's about it. So yeah, this usually takes about 10 minutes or so, depending on how much veg you use. So I'm just going to go until that water starts boiling in the pan, and then I'll switch over to adding in all the other ingredients. But yeah, I really like using the Heinz chili sauce. I like their home style, which is a chunky chili sauce. You can use Willie's chili sauce. It just will give it a little bit of a sweetness instead of spicy. But it works as well. But I like the Heinz because it has more of the tomato, a little bit of onion, and chili peppers. Onions, garlic, chili peppers, and tomato. That's basically what's in this. Yep. And that's really all you need in terms of sauces. You can just do the dry spice. I've seen a version of that. But I find having the chili sauce gives it that added flavor. Just watching my water to make sure that I don't overflow the sink or have too much water. Just want to get the vegetables that are on the side. And these are almost ready. So they're, let me see if I can bring that up. See how kind of, I'm in the light, aren't I? Okay. See how kind of light colored they are? That's basically how you want your vegetables. Even though they're nice and chunky right now, see? That's the green pepper. It's just a little on the light side. So, I'm sure there's a light right above that camera. That's right. But yeah, when they turn light color like that, that means they're cooking. I don't like overcooking them at this stage because they're going to be in for like a couple hours anyways. And the water's ready. Yeah, sorry, my sink. But I like going in. It's still a little hard, but it's turning into that light color. That's what you want at this stage. I did add a little too much water, so that's a little mistake on my part. This is never really the same when I make it, so each time I make this, it's always different. But the techniques are always the same. So, yeah, think I'll use the, yeah, I'll use the rubber scraper to stir this down. But yes, this does pair really well with the garlic and cheese scones. So if you haven't seen that video, go watch that, follow it, and you'll have a nice side to this that's low carb. So, yeah, this is basically a 0 carb meal. No added sugar, no carbohydrates whatsoever. It's just high in fiber. Yeah, this is getting to that point now that I can start adding the other stuff. But first, adding a little bit of chili sauce, and you can add as much or as little as you want. I just find it helps with thickening the chili if you cook that if you cook this at a higher temperature. I mean, if you keep it on 6, it's gonna thicken anyways, but the chili sauce just helps in that process. But for me, I like it nice and thin. I like being able to dip my bread or dip my my scones in it. So, just making sure this is all stirred in. I love the amount of vegetables that is in this. Actually, my carrots are, yeah, they're starting to cook already. I'm just making sure that all my vegetables are incorporated. So I have my meat and my veg pretty even. So. I know you can do, like, if you really want it meaty, you can do 2 pounds and add 1 more can of tomato. What do I want to do first? Tomato and then the kidney beans. Okay. So, tomatoes go in, and I don't really drain anything. The only thing I actually do drain is the canned mushrooms. And best tip, keep the tomato can, because if you do need more water, that's a better measurement than trying to use like a liquid measure and do that. You don't have to dirty another dish or that sort. This particular company really likes packing in their beans here. What's fine of it, they always are like hard to get out of the bottom of the can. I usually take as much out as I can and then add in the water. So, and go around the sides and then swirl it around. Because there's flavor in that stuff. Just add a little more. And as you see, the water level is rising. So that's that one. And then last but not least, the mushrooms. For those that do like mushrooms. And the type of can opener I have cuts the inside of the can, so I'm able to do that without slicing my hand. If I was wondering. So there and there, I just have one more little bit to do. I just need to carefully, and I mean very carefully, stir this or mix this in. I'm going to mix this stuff first and then I'm going to add my spices. But yeah, so once it hits this stage and you've mixed everything carefully, would suggest using like a Dutch oven, or if you do use a slow cooker, get one that doesn't have the auto timer, because you don't really need it. You just need to turn it on to high for about 20 minutes till all the vegetables and stuff are nice and hot. And then you turn it down add in your cans of tomato. I think the one that I had was a 4-quart or 4-liter. It was a really big Black & Decker one. Anyways, after that you just put it on low, check it every 15 minutes, add your chili sauce or chili powder. So this, I'm gonna add more garlic because I love garlic. So put in whatever amount of garlic I want. I usually just do the garlic with the vegetables, and then it's just chili powder, and then I'm gonna do my cinnamon because I like cinnamon in this. I just have to remember not to use so much because it will make this spicy. But yeah, it's mostly the chili sauce or chili powder that does some use to the grunt work. The cinnamon just helps give it a little bit of an earthy flavor and increases the spiciness. So this is basically what it looks like when you're first starting to cook it. And then I'll catch you back once this is at almost at the 2-hour mark. So I'm just making sure that I have that. I can actually keep mine on that. I don't need the cinnamon anymore, just these guys. So yeah, that's what it looks like. Here, let me zoom in here. Oh. Yeah, zoom in here. Let me. There we go. Oh, that's not gonna work. Just give me a second. That. Undo you. There we go. So yeah, I'm gonna actually keep the camera about a little higher. There we go. I'm gonna keep the camera right there. There. So yeah, that's kind of what the chili looks like right now. We'll be tuning back in once this is just about done. Because this is 2 hours long. This is a 2-hour chili, so for crockpot type, I think it's about 8 hours on low. That's kind of what you want to do, is keep it on low and not cook it. So yeah, I'll get you back when this is just about done. Okay, and we're back. So still got about 2 minutes left on the timer, but this is basically what you want for this chili. It's still got another 15 minutes of cooking, but thought I'd, turn it on just to show you guys exactly what I do in between the cook times, just so you guys can follow along. So I just kind of scrape the edges a little bit, scrape the bottom, and I'm doing this with a rubber scraper. Just so that nothing sticks to it, and I make sure that everything on the bottom doesn't stick. Shouldn't, because I have the avocado oil all over the pan. I basically do that, and then I put even more chili powder on. I do like doing that. You can do it like tablespoon at a time. I just like a little bit more, and then you just stir it in. So basically that's that. I'm going to time this for another 15 minutes because that basically is the finishing move. So I'm going to actually turn this up for the last 15 minutes so it really starts thickening up. I usually put it on 4 just to get it cooking, but without boiling it too much. And I already have my cup of cheese ready to be shredded on top. And what happens is that all the cans just fit in one can. It's kind of neat that it does that. That you can do that. And there we go. It's like, just wanted to make sure that that was on the garbage, because I forgot to do that earlier. Oh yeah, I did have to add in another half a can of water, or half a tomato can of water, so it didn't thicken too much. Yeah. Stop timer. And I had my timer set on my phone, so it reminded me that time to go back live. So yeah, that's that. I'm gonna wait till the last minute or so. Got my container ready to put the leftovers back, or leftovers in. Just want to make sure I have over here. Chocolate too on there. And I got my plate with two paper towels. One for the bottom because I am going to take these scones that are freshly baked. And if you saw the previous episode, you would have seen these guys baked fresh. So I'm just going to take 3 because I know this meal here will be is 3 meals. So I want to make sure that I have enough. I want to make sure that I have enough scones and enough scones for my leftovers as well as this meal. So this will last, like these scones will last like a week if you bake them properly. And I'm just taking out the air just so that they stay fresh until the next time I want them, which will probably be tomorrow. But yes. So I got my scones ready, and then once that hits the timer, or once it hits like 2 minutes, I'll put this in for like 35 seconds. Doesn't need that much. But yeah. You can kind of see it. Let me just put in. So yeah, the paper towel on the bottom is to prevent the scones from getting the scones to get wet or to get all soggy. So 35 seconds in the microwave usually gets them nice and toasty, and then you break them apart. And that's the side to go with this meal. And I got my cup of cheese ready to get shredded. So yeah, just thought I'd let you guys watch the last bit here on because now I'm like doing a roaring bubble or roaring boil. I want to make sure that I don't have anything sticking to the bottom. But this is such a hearty recipe. It's not only healthy, it's hearty as heck. Good for a cold day, good for a snowy day, good for any type of winter weather. But you can have this like any time of the year. I just specifically like it during winter. But, yep. That's good. I got it on 6. Got another 10 minutes. It'll thicken as I cook. It'll thicken as it cooks, so don't have to worry about that. That's why I usually put it on 4 for like the hour and 3/4, and then for the last 15 minutes I turn the temperature up a little bit. Do I want to do my chocolate milk now? I got 10 minutes, I might as well. Might as well. That way I don't have to worry about my drink. Yeah, this is a very, very, very good supper. And diabetic friendly. Very diabetic friendly. I think the only real carb would be the scones, and even then those things are like almost 0. I mean, you just have the flour that's in there and the milk. Those are the only things that would be considered carby. Everything else is either a protein or fiber. So it's like I put a full tablespoon or a full teaspoon of garlic in there, and about half a teaspoon of salt. So, no, sorry, a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of no, I was right. Half a teaspoon of sea salt and a teaspoon of the garlic. I like my garlic. It's good for the heart. Very, very good for the heart. Makes the heart go strong. Also helps with the liver too. Just like the kidney beans that are in there, or that are in the chili here. They're good for the kidneys. But yeah, this is like a really nutritious meal. It tastes heavenly. Good way to, if your kids are picky with vegetables, it's a good way to introduce them to vegetables in a tasty way. Because as a little kid, vegetables can be a little scary and kind of gross and boring. This way it's fun, it's tasty, and they get their daily vegetables. So another 8 minutes, and then this will be ready to go. Right here, let me zoom out here. That's zooming in. There's the zoom out, and I'm just gonna bring my camera down a little bit so I can move the camera back a little bit so you can get the full view. And there we go. Let's see. But yeah, that's the chili so far. It's almost done. I'm gonna be having to constantly pull from the bottom to make sure that it's coming up, and the water's already evaporating quickly, so I actually want to turn it down a little bit. Or maybe not. Basically, when you reheat it, put it in a pot, put it on medium. As soon as it starts boiling, turn it off, and you're ready to go. That's basically it. And if you want to add more chili or chili powder to it, garlic, feel free. I know I do. And if it's a little too thick for your taste, you can add a little bit of water to thin it out a little bit. It's all to your preference. I'm just constantly stirring, making sure the bottom doesn't start to solidify. So the one big difference between the round crumbles that I get and the other vegetarian ground crumbles, this stuff holds up in a liquid environment. It does not fall apart and disappear like the other, 3 companies that I tried. So it's Yves is a Canadian owned company that does all the vegetarian products that you've been seeing on my recipes. So like when I did the breakfast bowl, that was the the bacon and the sausage are both Yves products, and they're really, really, really tasty. Unlike other soy-based or plant-based products that I find that Yves they don't make me feel bloated or any of that stuff. It's like having meat. Although with their hot dogs, they tend to go a little bit old-fashioned ballpark franks, which means they're a little heavy spiced, but I don't know, they're not too bad. The chicken tenders are fantastic. I use them when I feel like having chicken. Today I'm just kinda in a chilly mood. This is looking good. It's already thickening. Like I'm not kidding, I had the water like to there. It's already gone way down. Like almost halfway down the pot or pan here. But yeah, this is like a one pot meal. You can do it by the, or you can use the crock pot for this. And it does take about 8 hours. This only takes 2 hours. So if you have the time to do 8-hour chili, go right ahead. It's just high for 10 minutes, getting the meat and the vegetables relatively hot and mostly cooked, and then you add in your tomatoes, kidney beans, and if you have canned mushrooms, you add that in too. And then you let it simmer on low for the full 8 hours. So yeah, that's that. I just find this is a lot faster, a lot easier actually. Still one pot meal, whether you use a crock pot or you use a deep pan like this, or even like a Dutch oven would work perfectly. So then you can double up on your meat, you can double up on the tomatoes, and it still turns out just as good. And then that means you have more leftovers at that point. But for me, this will last me 3 days. This definitely lasts me about 3 days. 3 half decent bowls of chili. So yeah, that's the 2-minute mark. Now I'm going to put these guys into the microwave for 35 seconds. Because I only have like 2 minutes left, I might as well get my scones nice and toasty. And then I'm ready with that. I serve up the chili once that timer goes off. And that's basically it. Again, the beginning portion very fast, the ending portion pretty quick. Just the in-between time that takes a while. So you want to cook it for 2 hours, you want to cook it for 2 hours, stirring every 15 minutes, keeping it on, I guess it would be like medium-low. There's the last minute bell, which means I can actually turn this off. There's like 1 minute. Could have turned it off at the 2-minute mark. So it's just as good. But yeah, it's very hearty, very tasty. I'm going to be using that since I've been serving myself. What are we doing right now? I really like this chili. It's got a nice red color. It's got all the good vegetables. More seasonal vegetables in here. Generally you find carrots, celery, red onion as a winter or late fall type vegetables. Yeah, okay, timer can go off. That's ready. I got my chili. I'm going to do 1 more scoop. Why? Because I want some of the liquid. So I'll do 1 more full scoop. Because this is really good, and all I do to is a single morsel. And some liquid in there. And then, because I do like plating, doing professional plating with my own food here, I always like making sure there's no gunky stuff around the plate. And now I just shred my cheese into the thing. If you do like a little bit more zing, you can add a little bit of chili powder on top of the cheese as it's melting. For that little bit of spiciness, added zing. Well, that's what I normally do anyway, so that, and Here we go. Just the cheese. All the cheese in. I'm just making sure that I get around 2 there. A little bit of this guy here. Just a little sprinkle. Sometimes I have to hit it a few times, but that's, yeah, there we go. That's the chili finished and completed. And then I got my, so let's put it on for 10 seconds. I can't let it a little roasted, so 10 more seconds I should do that. And while I'm waiting for the scones, which will be done right about now. So I just basically put the plate on top, take my scones off for a second, take one of the paper towels, wipe the plate dry, because they do steam up a little bit. And these are so fluffy. Like, yes, they're a little hot because I threw them in the microwave a little longer than I should have. They're really, really hot. Ooh. Very, very hot. Recommend only 35 seconds for these guys. Whew. That's really warm. But yeah, I just basically tear them into chunks so I can dip them in the chili. So there we go. And then the paper towel, I just kind of smooth out, fold, and put it with the rest of my other paper towel. I have like 2 sets of paper towels that I use to, like, I have one set that's for steaming broccoli and cauliflower, and then I have that set I just used to do my scones. So now I'm just kind of scraping the side. So what I do is sort of this helps with scraping off the space. But yeah, because don't want to miss a thing. And this is where it's going to get a little bit messy. We'll suggest that you do this when the food's cool. I just want to show you guys what it looks like when you do the full thing where you've had your fill and you're gonna put your food away. That's just how I am. And just look around at all. Actually, you know, I did spill a lot. But yeah, this will do 2 more meals. So I don't have to worry about that type of stuff. I just put it away. There we go. So that's about it. That's the chili, or the homemade chili. So, yeah. Well, that's pretty much it for making this meal. Hope it was somewhat enjoyable and educational. Look forward to the next episode of Eclipse Kitchen. Here's where you could find me and my counterpart. Follow us on Twitter and join our Facebook group where you'll get regular updates on what's going on. Subscribe to this channel and our main channel to see all the wonderful content we'll bring to you. And last but not least, become a Patreon and donate to our coffee to show your support for more content like this and more. You all have a great day.